Hello and welcome to a lap of Daytona on the Porsche 911 RSR. We're gonna start the lap, obviously on the start and finish straight. It's a 31-degree server, 100% usage. Oh, actually now it's 34. When I got on the server it was 31. I don't know what it was when I drove. Something between 31 and 34. I start drifting up at the line towards the wall to open up the entry of turn 1 or the braking. Then I turn in and go over this white line, which is also my braking indicator. Start applying the brake relatively gentle, as there's some steering input involved, and transferring the load onto the front before you really start braking hard. Well, hard, it's like 60% because it's bumpy and you're always going around the corner. Kinda go out to orientate on the white line, but I'm not going out completely to the white line because then I would need to carry at first more distance, which theoretically is slower if I can do it at the same speed only. I could probably get a little bit of a better exit with a better entry, but that's not really relevant, so I rather stay a bit tighter on the entry and concentrate on hitting the apex. Then there's not much trail braking involved here. Probably I wasn't on the limit. This rolling period here shows that I'm not really on the edge with the braking yet. Otherwise I would ideally trail brake until the point I get on the throttle, but there's like a rolling phase of probably like 20 meters. Not perfect, but main thing is to hit the line, get as close as possible to the grass, and then 90% steering angle. What's important in the Porsche, for me at least, I get on the power up to 70%, around that, without needing to open the steering wheel, or without the need to open the steering wheel. And when I know, okay, I want to get on the power, I subconsciously completely open the steering wheel before, or not completely, but you'll see it now. Like, it's just shy of 90-degree turning angle, and now I open it to like 45, and then I apply the throttle. So I don't want to take the risks to even get oversteer on power. Kills the rear tires and just is slow. That's why I always, you'll see that in the other corners as well. I'm gonna point on that as well. Anyway, after this kink, just bring it over to the left. Just brake after this white line here. This is kind of my braking orientation. This is straight braking zone, but you're not approaching at really high speeds, so it's not that much that high braking. It's like 60%, 60 to 70. Second gear again. I ran it a little wide here, but I got a better exit because of that. Maybe you'll see it again now. 90-degree steering angle. Again, those 60-70% of throttle without doing anything with the steering wheel. And now I know, okay, I want to get on the power now. I open the steering wheel and then I apply the power. So not the other way around. That will just give you oversteer, kill the rear tires, make you slow, and just not efficient. Even if you don't get oversteer, the traction control will just take away all the power, which is slower. This kink is easy flat, and my braking for this corner here is midway through the cones, like this cone maybe. We'll see. Yeah, a bit earlier than midway through the row of cones, I guess. Don't have to brake completely on the left here. I stay kinda in the middle of the track into this corner. There's some slight trail braking into this. Missed the apex slightly again, but doesn't have much of an effect here in this corner, I feel like. You'll see the throttle thing again, 70% or 70 roundabout, 90 degrees of turn in, and I want to get on the power, open the steering, and then I apply the power. No oversteer. Tightens up quite a bit that exit here, so you have to make sure to only get on the power once you know you're actually gonna make it and don't touch the grass. Otherwise you might need to adjust the steering angle and just turn in a bit more again, which will end up in tears usually, or not really the result you want. Braking zone for this corner. This is my indicator here when that different track version basically goes off to the right. It's hard braking, kinda. It's bumpy though. Every braking zone at Daytona is bumpy, or at least you brake around the corner, so you're never really braking harder than 65%. Well, when I say you, I mean me. I don't know how the pros do it. The pros probably brake like 75%, I guess, but this is like the way I can get it the most consistent way all the time and get a solid result out of it. Then some trail braking to the apex, but not much. Again, like 90% steering angle. That seems to be the the steering angle you need for those radius corners. They are all fairly similar. All second gear as well so far. And then you see the throttle thing again. I open the steering, and then I apply the full throttle, like to around 70 to 80%, I guess. There's not much of an oversteer effect on throttle, but if you really want to apply those last percentages of the throttle, you need to open the steering and give the car the ability to drift out a bit, and yeah, just take away some lateral force from the rear tires and give them more traction. So then bus stop, very important corner at Daytona. Probably one of the most important ones, as you can easily get off tracks, and even a slowdown if you completely overdo it. It also sets up your entry or exit for the probably the best overtaking opportunity, or at least the best opportunity to prepare a good pass. Yeah, so want to brake slightly after this yellow marker here up top. Kind of hard brake. This is the hardest braking zone for me, at least, like 70%. And then you want to turn in very early, use a lot of that inside curb, and apply a little bit of trail braking here, like 5 to 10%. You can do a bit more if you carry more speed into the corner. I was a bit maybe too careful into the corner because I messed it up quite a few times the laps before, and I was on a good lap this time, so I didn't want to mess it up. Just broke a little earlier probably. Didn't quite work out perfectly because now I was so slow and so tight here that, well, this is not probably not the perfect way of doing the bus stop, for me at least. I can do it better. If I, like, half a meter more to the left, for some reason, I opened the steering, or not for some reason, because I was feared that I was gonna go and cut the grass too much here on the inside, but actually, maybe that wasn't needed to open the steering. And because of that, I also had to lift that slight bit. This is not an off-track. The off-track detection point is when halfway of the car is on the grass. From the rear it actually looks like the halfway is on the grass, but I guess the sensor is somewhere in the front area, and that is definitely clearly on the curb. The lap, you can also see the lap counted down here. Yeah, fourth gear for me in bus stop. I mean, you can probably have a setup that you could do it in third gear in. I also have talked to my teammates. Most of them naturally preferred it in third gear, but I kind of got them to test it in fourth gear, and I think they got used to that as well. It just gives you the ability to use a bit more trail braking instead of engine brake at the rear, and with the trail braking you'd put just some more load onto the front tires and rotate the car a bit better at the same speed, or yeah, the same way in higher speeds. Yeah, shut up, Ryan. And then you can go aggressively on the throttle here because you're at 160 kilometers an hour in fourth gear, so no traction issues really. If anything, you want to rotate the car a little bit with the throttle. I want to cut this curb a bit more. The off-track is like, I guess it's again halfway of the car, and you see I'm clearly not on the edge. Oh, yeah, seem to be on the edge with my brain cell usage right now. Anyway, that's basically a lap of Daytona. It's not much is gonna happen here. The end. Could have had a little bit of rest stop, definitely. Washed wide in a few of the apexes, and in the inside, or two of them at least, but didn't really cost me anything. Gave me a better exit, I guess. And one thing you have to make sure, hug the yellow line here. Don't clip the apron, that probably slows you down. But stay as tight to the yellow line as possible, and then start drifting up again once you hit the start and finish straight. Lap time was a 142.2, which I'm fairly happy with. This is well, it was definitely not 36 degrees. I think it was 31 or 32 when I drove the lap. 100% usage, which usually means the server is extremely slow. But I don't think it was slow. The humidity is really high. I guess that makes it fast. The straight line speeds were normal, but somehow, especially also the braking grip into turn 1, as I also explained, my lap wasn't on the edge, even though I used my normal braking point, shows that the server was really grippy. So this is a lap time I would be really happy with to get in most servers, but I was probably like helped by the server just being very fast. So anyway, this was my lap guide of Daytona. I hope you enjoyed it. Wish you a nice time of day, whatever you have, and hope to see you on track. Have fun!